The boy who collected brave moments. In a bright little town by the sea, there lived a quiet boy named Sami. Sami loved building things. Tall towers from blocks, tiny boats from paper, and big dreams inside his imagination. But there was something he didn't love. He didn't love trying new things in front of other people. Whenever someone said, "Who wants to try first?" Sami's hands stayed glued to his sides. Whenever someone asked, "Can you help us?" Sami looked at the floor. Inside his heart, he wanted to say yes. But inside his mind, a tiny voice always whispered, "What if you can't?" One windy afternoon, while walking home from school, Sami found something unusual lying near a park bench. It was a small glass jar with a golden lid. Tied around it with a little note that read, "Collect brave moments." Sami looked inside the jar. It was empty. Brave moments? He wondered. Where do you find those? He carried the jar home, thinking about it all evening. Before bed, he placed it on his desk. The moonlight touched the glass, and for a second, Sami thought he saw it sparkle. The next morning at school, the teacher announced, "Tomorrow we will each share something we are proud of." Sami's stomach flipped. Share something in front of everyone? That tiny voice returned. "Don't do it. You'll forget your words." Sami touched the jar in his backpack. "Collect brave moments," he whispered. That day, during art class, Sami noticed a new student sitting alone. She looked nervous, holding her crayons but not drawing. Sami felt shy, but he walked over anyway. "Do you want to draw with me?" he asked softly. The girl smiled. "Okay." At that very moment, Sami felt something warm in his chest. When he got home, he opened the jar. Ping! A tiny golden light appeared inside. Sami gasped. Was that a brave moment? The next day, during soccer at recess, the ball rolled toward him. Usually, Sami would step aside, but this time, he kicked it toward his teammate. His kick wasn't perfect, the ball bounced a little funny, but his friends cheered anyway. That evening, ping! Another golden light joined the first. The jar was starting to glow. Finally, presentation day arrived. Sami's hands felt cold. His heart beat like a drum. He almost decided not to go to school at all. But then he looked at the jar. Inside were two tiny glowing lights. They started small, Sami thought. Just like me. When it was his turn, he stood up slowly. His legs felt wobbly. The tiny voice tried again. "Sit down." Sami took a deep breath. "I brought something I built," he said, holding up a small paper boat. "I like building things because when I build, I feel like I can create anything." His voice shook at first, but he kept going. "And sometimes I feel scared to try things, but I'm learning to try anyway." The classroom was quiet. Then someone clapped, then another. Soon the whole class was smiling. Sami sat down, surprised. He hadn't been perfect. He had stumbled over one word, but he had done it. That afternoon, when he opened the jar, something incredible happened. Ping, ping, ping. The jar filled with bright golden light, brighter than ever before. Sami finally understood. Brave moments weren't giant, heroic acts. They were small choices. Saying hello, trying again, raising your hand, speaking even when your voice shakes. Over the weeks, Sami kept collecting brave moments. Sometimes they were tiny, like answering one question. Sometimes they were bigger, like trying out for the school play. And something magical happened. The tiny voice in his head grew quieter. A new voice grew stronger. "You can try. You are learning. You are braver than you think." One evening, as Sami placed the glowing jar on his desk, he realized something important. The jar had never created the bravery. It had only helped him see it. The real courage had been inside him all along, growing every time he chose to try. And from that day on, whenever someone asked, "Who wants to try first?" Sami didn't always raise his hand. But he didn't hide it anymore either, because he knew a secret. Confidence isn't about being the best. It's about being brave enough to begin. And that's how Sami became the boy who collected brave moments, one small, shining step at a time.